men's aging faces are considered dignified and sexy, and they have salt and pepper hair. When do you ever hear women described as having salt and pepper hair?
You know what? Women can do whatever they want to make themselves look better. What's wrong with that?
But there's a culture in thinking that that's what looks better specifically on women. We shoot men in high definition, and we make women airbrush like emojis. And so I don't like that. I don't want to have Botox. I don't want to have filler. I don't want to have a facelift. I'm enjoying my grey hairs.
Well, Jamila, you are sitting here with dyed hair and a pound of makeup on your face, preaching about being natural. That's silly, no?
She left a good man, and now she is left with nothing. We've got a video for you here today from Logical Dating 101. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way in, and let's get into it.
If you wanted to be a wife in the 1950s, these are the things you would have to be able to do.
She must know how to cook, know food. She must know how to set her table attractively. She must know how to make her home comfortable and inviting. She must know the worth of labor-saving devices and how best to conserve her time and energy.
If you take a look at her face, the mere idea of cooking meals and operating a vacuum cleaner is somehow a bewildering idea, as if she doesn't cook and clean for herself. But as we all know, it's only empowering for a woman to clean if she's doing it when she's single.
She must know clothes, how to buy, and how to make them. She must face death to bring children into the world. She must raise them, care for them, and pilot them safely to the threshold of manhood and womanhood. To her husband, she must be a companion, a sweetheart, a wife, and a mother.
It's kind of weird how modern women think they're taking back their power by not having children. This implies that men actually want to have a family with them in the first place. Like, let's be real here, guys. Most of these women are not worth talking to, let alone starting a family with.
She must stir his ambition, pull him through failure, and keep success from hurting him. She must make social contact. She must widen her own horizon and find time for culture.
Every single thing that's been mentioned seems incredibly reasonable. Be caring, nurturing, and friendly, but modern women think that doing those things is somehow a symbol of oppression, as if being a genuine loving person is somehow a character flaw.
The two biggest movements that deconstructed society were feminism and the Me movement. The Me movement of the 60s was basically a movement that said, I matter more than anybody else. Now, bad therapy, by the way, can promote that. So that's what I mean by there's good therapy and bad therapy. Bad therapy is what you want and you need, and nobody else matters but you. Me, right? That's bad therapy. That Me movement told people that individualism, that freedom to be you, freedom to be me was the most important thing. And that responsibility for relationships, for family, they no longer mattered, because what mattered was you, no one else.
That's the majority of modern therapists nowadays. They're not interested in actually helping people through their issues. They just want to get paid to tell their clients whatever they want to hear. And the fees they charge for that privilege is just insane. It's quite a grift, really.
A lot of women say, like, I feel this way, and they talk in feelings. A lot of men aren't receptive to that. You know, they want to hear the logic and the evidence behind it. That's better communication in general. I think that I've had to unlearn talking in feelings and had to learn rooting my arguments and my decisions in logic and evidence. Feelings are fleeting, but evidence is everlasting.
Be real with me.
Don't turn your princes into frogs.
Delulu, why?
There are women who will turn princes into frogs. Women don't realize they do that because we're so programmed to criticize men. From movies, the shows, the music that we listen to.
It's insane how modern women think that the best thing they can do is find a man and then constantly rip into him over the dumbest things. They think that's somehow a human right because men are quote unquote oppressive, even when they can't even cite specific examples.
We're never thinking, oh, maybe there's a good reason for why they did that. We're always thinking the worst reason of it and then start spiraling off of those thoughts, which isn't fair to them. Well, that's where we start losing respect because that's where the criticism starts. You can teach and guide a person just by being yourself. You can encourage a person with a certain behavior. Like, hey, I really love that you did that. Thank you so much. Instead of, next time do it like this. Well, you wouldn't do that to your friend. Why disrespect your partner?
That's because modern women oftentimes just don't actually want relationships. They just want to be right. And anytime they don't think they're right about something, they have to pick apart everything the man does because at the end of the day, they have to believe that the man is in the wrong.
A lot of people have an idea of who they want their partner to be, and then they will try to morph their partner into that person when their partner never wanted to be that in the first place. That's where a lot of resentment comes in, because you're forcing your partner to change when they didn't sign up for that. In a relationship, people just want to feel accepted and loved.
The more you try to morph someone into what you want them to be, they might do it and try to make you happy, but it will build resentment because every time they do that, it will be with an energy of reluctance.
What advice do you have for people that are dating?
Stop thinking about what your idea of love should look like and just be in the moment.
All right, thank you so much. What was your name?
Johanna.
Preston, nice to meet you.
The amount of women who complain that their significant others don't change for them is ridiculous to me. Men shouldn't have to change who they are just so that they can be deemed worthy of a woman who never even respected him in the first place.
These are 3 things that I had to give up in order to become more biblically feminine. First thing that I chose to give up was my tomboy streetwear style of clothing. A lot of Christians may disagree with this and say God is one who doesn't look on the outside, he looks on the inside. But the reality is the outward is a direct reflection of what is in the inward. The fact that I was not just wanting but so comfortable dressing masculine was evidence that I was ashamed of the God-given sex, gender, and nature that God gave me as a woman. The more steps that I took to dress more feminine, I found myself being much more confident, much more loving, much more soft and gentle to those around me, which we as all Christians, but especially women of God, are called to be.
Modern women will choose the strangest battles to fight, especially when it comes to clothing. The mere idea of dressing modestly and feminine is so offensive to them that they will fight tooth and nail to dress in a way that's incredibly unattractive, purely out of spite.
Secondly, I had to give up this idea that everybody, but especially my male counterparts, were my competition. So somebody who grew up in sports and has a very natural competitive nature, I was going completely against what God's design was for male to female to complement one another. What it really was the ideas and ideology of feminism seeping into my mind. Feminism pushes a pit against the sexes. They preach men versus women, while again, God preaches that men and women come together to complete the image of God.
Womanism isn't so much about men versus women so much as it is women versus everybody. It preaches this ideology of hate, competition, and bitterness. It's all about resenting the world around them and to be as combative as possible.
So once I realized that the men in my life were not competition, rather they were my complementary counterpart, the relationships in my life with my husband, my dad, increased tremendously, and I found myself no longer trying to prove myself better than or being able to keep up with the guys. The third thing that I had to give up, and I'm still working on a daily basis, was the need to constantly be heard and the obsession with talking significantly more than I listen. The Bible makes it very clear that a foolish person speaks many words, but a wise person uses discretion. They know when to speak, how to speak, and how to communicate what they want to say with very little words.
Modern women have turned word salad into a competitive sport at this point. They think that the longer they talk using words with the maximum amount of syllables and the more gibberish they say is somehow going to make them sound as if they have a point when they talk. It actually doesn't.
The Bible also makes it very clear that we are called to be slow to speak and quick to listen. And I believe this is a commandment even more so towards women because we have a higher proclivity to talk more than our male counterparts. And I actually found when I put in the effort to speak significantly less than I listen, the intimacy with my husband increased. The relationships around me began to flourish. I no longer had this lingering insecurity to be heard. I cared more about what other people had to say, which is exactly the heart that God has for us.
That's the funny thing about womanism. It convinced women that they are to be seen and heard, and the mere idea of listening to anybody who disagrees with them, well, of course, they're an enemy, right? That's why they refuse to listen and oftentimes are taught to just insults whenever a disagreement happens.
Okay, I want you to rate this woman on a scale of 1 to 10. Oh, 9 or 10 easily. She's stunning. Okay, be honest. Drop dead gorgeous. Well, what if I told you that you look like her? Oh, So you think I'm fat?
Te quería ver, solo un ratito volverte a tener. Un momentito, pero te quería ver.
I have never seen a woman make a broke man rich, but I've seen plenty of men make broke women rich.
It's crazy to see how modern women will take credit for a man's success by saying that she supported him, even though it's pretty damn common knowledge that they only support themselves oftentimes. And when the husband becomes successful, it's usually because he became successful in spite of the woman being there.
Do you think that we have a problem in society? We definitely do. We got many of them. But why is it that, like, a woman will never stay with a broke man, but a broke man has no problem, like, providing and building up a broke woman? Because the thing is, like, nowadays, most broke women don't even think they're broke. They just think that they're dating the wrong man. But then they'll look at a guy who's, like, working fucking 60 hours a week at a job that doesn't really pay that much, but he's doing his fucking best, and she'll look at him and be like, that's broke boy energy. No, that's hubby energy, actually.
That's because modern women think that men who work hard are just losers. If that man isn't pulling in over $1 million a year in income, then he's not working hard enough. Meanwhile, she can barely afford rent, and she thinks that she's brave for doing that well.
That's fucking husband material, actually. I feel like as women, we have such a, like, strong desire to be taken care of that we forget that, like, men are human beings.
She is independent and she pays her own bills and she takes care of herself.
Then she's an average adult. Dude, our society needs to stop treating women like children deserving of admiration for accomplishing the most trivial of tasks. You wanted the patriarchy to be ended so bad, and now here's the consequence. You're not a child, you're an adult. Congratulations to adulthood. That is so tough.
The funny thing is how this actually ends up leading to the whole a successful woman is just an average man argument. Because when a woman meets the bare minimum requirements for being an adult, she deserves a trophy, apparently. When a man does the same thing, he deserves to be mocked.
Girls, like when you're with a man, if you have the pleasure of being with a man who is going to grind to build you up a beautiful future, who's going to work as hard as he can and sacrifice things for himself, sacrifice leisures and joys for himself in order to build a kingdom for you and your future family, realize that he's grinding for you and support that. I don't need to be spoiled. I don't need to ask for this, this, and that. I shouldn't be expecting him to buy me all these things. Like, support the fact that, like, you're blessed enough to find a man that's going to grind for you. Realize that he's doing it for you. And so support him in that decision, and don't make it difficult for him, or don't put guilt on him just because you want, like, nice things. You know what I mean?
God, dude,
if you
you've
want
never done that to me, bro.
Yeah, if you want to go buy yourself some nice things, then maybe you have to go pick up, you know, a little extra work so that if you really want those things, if you really think that you need those things, but don't put that on your man when he's grinding for you in order to have a beautiful future.
It's disturbing to see how so many modern-day relationships just fail because of the woman's ingratitude. They'll measure the success of the relationship by their trinkets, not through their hard work or anything else, of course. But anyway, guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Click this video that's up on the screen now if you want to see more. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.